I would say that real estate is a remarkable diversification to putting your money
Huge.
401k, right? Um, and a great way for people to make money on the side. And my goal is to teach our kids that they can take care of themselves in a variety of ways, but you have to do it yourself. Like nobody's coming to save you. The big tagline for Tony and Pace is nobody's coming to save you. You have to find a way to make it work.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey, folks, welcome back to the show. Today's guest is a doctor, ear, nose, and throat doctor based in Boston, who also invests in fix and flips and has done multifamily as well. Please welcome Ayesha Khalid. Ayesha, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited. I've watched the show and excited to be here.
It's great to have you on. I always like to start off at the top by asking folks how they got into the real estate space.
Yeah. So for me, practicing ear, nose, and throat doc, full-time job. And I really wanted to teach our children about how to become abundant in mindset and financially abundant. And then I don't know if it was fate or the universe, but I ended up at a multifamily seminar in Boston, true story, with my husband and my friend. And I signed up to learn how to invest in multifamily deals through MFM a couple of years ago. And ever since then, I loved it because I think the basis of people's security or feeling of security is having a place to live. So, even just as important as their health. And that's what got me into it. And then once I learned about it, I figured, wow, this is such a great way to make passive income. My parents are both, immigrated to the United States and really just squirreled money in the mattress and in the bank. And that was their retirement plan. And I wanted to live a little bit differently. So it's been a crazy ride and it's been 4 years now and it's amazing.
Walk me through the steps leading up to getting into the real estate space. You were talking a bit before hopping on here about how you were looking at coaching and fell into real estate, but it wasn't like super obvious that you were going to end up a real estate investor.
No, I think the first thing that happened was I had taken a couple of courses through the Tony Robbins programming, and I had learned that my relationship with money, my mindset around money just being a tool and energy and something that we can use to do good in the world had to be changed. And I had to get out of that mentality that if I just work more and earn more and struggle more, that's going to be the way to go. And the more I worked with folks that said, well, money's very easy to come by if you learn the right tools and strategies, and proximity is power. So surround yourself with people that have the right attitude around money. The second step that happened was I was really open. When I went to the real estate seminar and I signed up for the courses, they expected me to feel like I know everything, right? I'd been to med school and I was practicing, but I said, I don't know anything about this space. I'm totally open. Like, just teach me how to do these deals and how to invest. And I feel like that went a really long way because there's a lot of people in the world that are willing to help if you're willing to listen. So the first thing I did was try, gingerly investing as a limited partner. And then
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
True story. I just love all things construction. I love all things around the physical building of the apartment building. So I said I'd love to come on site. And I switched over into the general partner world and started to manage. Now, I'm not saying it's easy. I will say, my hair doesn't look like it right now, but I got a lot of gray hairs from learning about just asset management of an apartment building. And then fate always works in interesting ways. Fast forward, multifamily, learning those deals, those investments take time, right? You have to wait for the returns, and we buy and hold and we sell it 3 years, 5 years, 7 years. But the reason I said fate plays a role is 6 years ago, I heard Pace Morby on a Tony Robbins stage. And I never imagined that 6 years later, last year, I would join his courses and his community and now be actively in the space of private money lending and single family flips. And again, he just is somebody I think who's interested in teaching if you're willing to learn, right? If you're willing to learn. So I would say that real estate is a remarkable diversification to putting your money
Huge.
401k, right? And a great way for people to make money on the side. And my goal is to teach our kids that they can take care of themselves in a variety of ways, but you have to do it yourself. Like nobody's coming to save you. The big tagline for Tony and Pace is nobody's coming to save you. You have to find a way to make it work.
The thing that I noticed about real estate is, and one of the main reasons why I got in is I'm like, I need a home, right? And it's not getting any cheaper to buy a house. I was living in San Antonio, Texas at the time, and thinking, well, if I can't beat them, join them. But also, when I'm doing a Google search, real estate kept coming up as a wealth building tool. So I was kind of scratching my head thinking, well, I don't know anything about real estate. Similar to you, I went to, there was a seminar that I went to, then I went to a 3-day, I
Workshop.
believe it was a 2 or 3-day workshop in Dallas that I went to, and just totally had my mind and perspective changed, because I was expecting to see a bunch of people who I couldn't relate to, who were from backgrounds that didn't seem like mine, come in and talk high level about real estate and me be confused. But actually the exact opposite occurred, which was they saw someone in me who was maybe on the outside looking in, and they wanted to help. And that's one of the other awesome things about the real estate space is you have so many people who are go-givers, who really want to see people, doctors, nurses, anybody in a W-2, they want to see people get involved and want to help people along the way do so.
Yeah, I mean, I wanna go back to what you and I were talking about when we met, which is I want my colleagues in healthcare to really find joy in taking care of patients again, and I feel that everyone that's working in a W-2 thinks that you have to like, real estate is over there, and it's very salesy, and, I don't wanna get, scammed. But the reality is, I find people that are doing real estate and construction, not all of them, but I definitely find that go-giver mentality, and I find them to be very transparent about how we're making money, how we're losing money, what are the ways that you can do things to win. The other thing I will say, though, is I was primed, like mentally primed and ready to listen because I just kept reading some of the books. And when Warren Buffett says don't lose money is rule number one, and don't lose money is rule number two, and learn about taxes is like rule number three, I didn't know those things. I thought that my goal in life is I'm working, I enjoy my job, and if I need more money, I'll just work more. So things like tax harvesting through real estate or um, working without as much struggle, 18, 24-hour days is okay.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Yeah.
Meant that I had to change my relationship with money, right? The more abundance I have, the more I can give to others and help others, as opposed to feeling guilty about being rich, which is, I think, the way that I grew up. And the folks in
So
real estate have really supported that, which I think is very, very important for your listeners, that there's some real go-givers out there.
one of the interesting things, I mean, you mentioned this guilt. I can understand that because if you're really not in full control over your income, the only thing that you can do is show up. It's like, well, if I stop showing up here, then I'm not getting paid. You know,
Right.
we were talking about, expensive areas of the country. I grew up in northern New Jersey. You're in the greater Boston area. It's like you don't really have the option to say, well, I'm just going to up and stop because things get expensive very quickly. And so real estate gives you that backdrop of saying, okay, well, you know, if I wanted to or if I needed to, I could pivot. And also I'm savvy enough where it might not be necessarily investing directly in Boston or directly in New Jersey, but I could do out of state as well, which is what a lot of people do. I want to pivot a bit here, Aisha, and ask you about your colleagues and folks who may be seeing what you're doing and the questions that they have. Is there a warm reception to it? Is it a lot of skepticism? Is it a lot of people saying, hey, how do I get involved in real estate?
Say that very rarely is it a warm reception with how do I get involved. And 90% of the time that our culture in healthcare is very risk averse. So the first thing I hear is, "Oh, I don't want to get scammed or lose all my money." And the second thing I hear is, "Well, why don't you just pick up some extra shifts at the hospital and that could, help pay for college, right? For your kids." So I have to really what I call break down the mental barriers that have been created, and I call them the W-2 mentality behaviors, right? There's a reason why companies and organizations and hospitals want you to feel like you must come to work every day. And the second thing that I think wins over colleagues to at least hear what I'm doing is to say, I'm not asking you to quit your job. Like, you need your job, and it's gonna help you get you and your family through life. But I'm asking you to consider that maybe a small portion of your time, effort, and money is spent in real estate, and when it starts to work, you can expand it. And I think people really like that because they don't wanna make a hard stop and go like an entrepreneurial route 100%, but they're okay with, "Oh, okay, so I could take a small amount of money." And I will say that that's been one of the recent things that I've learned because as you know, rich people, like, when you have money, you can make money a lot more readily because you have
Yeah.
access to deals. To be honest, in the multifamily space when I started, the amounts needed for people to get in were much higher, right? 25, 50, $100,000. People don't have that sitting around. One of the reasons I like the private money lending and the single family model now is that the bar is 10 or 20K. And you can start with that. And I feel like I can offer that to my fellow nurses, docs, PAs, techs, reps, and they can get in on something that they didn't think they would have access to. So I would say the first is really confusion, is the response I get. Then it's met with curiosity, right? Like, we know Aisha, like, why is she doing this? Why is she so excited about it? And then the third is, which I'm sure you'll love, let me analyze every portion of the deal until I'm comfortable. And for some people, they will never get comfortable, right? Because we're very analytical in engineering and in healthcare or in teaching. Uh, but gosh, at least 20, 25% of the time, people make that leap and just say, you know what, I want to try it. I'll try it. I'll do a test amount. We'll see how it goes. Or I want to learn about it. So I'm very, very, very enthusiastic and passionate about you need to have joy in your work, and you're gonna have that when you have financial security for your family.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
And for me, like, I lead with that, and then it's a little bit, what are your goals, right? And I don't know about you, and as I
Yeah.
said earlier, you started and learned this a lot younger than I did, but if you don't have a goal of how and why and with what funds you're gonna be able to retire and enjoy some time with your family or travel or whatever it is you wanna do, you don't have those goals and you don't have a map of where you're trying to get to, then you're not gonna do real estate, right? Because you're just gonna keep spinning. So I
One of the
first
things
say what's writing.
that's unique about real estate in that regard is that it does provide you like a map. Oftentimes I think in general, one of the contradictions it seems of culture is that you end up making a bunch of money and then you end up keeping up with the Joneses, and then sometimes you run out of money, and it's like you have all these things that are depreciating in value, that you may not get the best use out of, that are not, you can't even write them off on your taxes. It's like, well, why did I get this? And then so then you look at it and you say, well, real estate provides you a roadmap. I know so many, you probably have the same experience. So many people will go from wholesaling or fix and flipping to multifamily. You went from multifamily to single and then to
Mhm,
lending, right?
mhm,
And it provides you a clear vision. Or people will say, I want to get into mixed use commercial. I wanted to get
mhm.
into industrial. I want to get into land and RV parks. I've got to get this amount of money cash so that I can make the down payment for this, and so that I have some left over in case my ARV is not where I think it is going to be, or in case my rehab budget
Right.
is off. And it gives you those kind of guidelines. I want to ask you about pivoting from multifamily to single family, and then also what it's like looking for deals while having a job, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So the pivot from multifamily to single family was easy. It was based on external forces, right? So in the last year, with the changes in the market, the interest rates, inflation, it was clear that multifamily deals, at least the ones I was in, were going to take longer to get the returns. It was going to either 6 months or a year longer. And I only offer deals to folks that I know that I'm also investing in. And with that in mind, I said, I need to find something where everyone is uncertain. Like at last year and the beginning of this year, everyone was uncertain. And so they need to see returns shorter term. And that will reassure people that real estate is a model that works, that the deals that I'm bringing to the table work. And that's primarily what happened. And so, like all things in life, one of my very good friends, her name's Andrea Metz, she had pivoted from multifamily to single family, done the Pace Morby course, met this great operator, and was investing and dragged me along. And she said, listen, now we're doing 6 months, 1 year flips and private money lending. And we're going to do that so that we're able to be secure for our family, but we're going to be able to go back to our investors. So that was really the pivot. And I don't know that I won't pivot again. I think you raise a really good point. I love how you said the map, because what happens is I'm currently telling investors, look for things that work in the 1 to 2 year time frame, because it's very hard to know that you're going to get rich off of this in 5 years. It's very hard to mentally wait that period of time in your first real estate forays. And when the market changes, maybe I'll go back to doing more multifamily or land development. I'm really open to that, but the numbers matter. And now I have a much more clear understanding of, a family of four, someone's earning amount of money can only put in like maybe 10K twice a year. I can find you a deal. Like I can find you a
Yeah.
deal. You asked about looking for deals. I am old enough. I turned 50 last year. I'm old enough to say I just work with the people I like and trust, right? I've already spent enough time in jobs where you go to work and you don't get to choose who you work for. So I am very selective. I work with only 2 teams in the Pace Morby group. I only work with 3 teams in the multifamily. I know them, I like them, I trust them. I vet the deals. Of course, they're doing a lot of the due diligence, and I wait. All right, we put some money in. Let's wait for this to work. And I tell the investors that are coming to me, because now there are people meeting me, true story, in the hallways of the hospital going, I'm run down today and I'm a nurse and I'm in the operating room. Like, help me get out. And I say, listen, I want you to
That's
love
amazing.
I want you to love being in the operating room and taking care of patients, right? But on the side, we can have a meeting and you can tell me your goals and I'll bring you a deal. But I'll only bring you deals that I'm also investing in because I really am much more nervous about other people's money than my own, to be
Right.
honest.
No, yeah, on that subject, I was thinking of doing a syndication. There was actually a guest on the show who was a syndication attorney, gentleman by the name of Gene. And,
Yes.
I was asking him, "Well, what about I'm thinking about doing a syndication." And he told me, he was like, "Well, you do have to be careful because it's other people's money. Have you heard of, Jordan Belfort or have you heard of, like, Bertie Madoff?" And I was like, "Yeah, well, what does that have to do with me?" He's like, "Well, once you take other people's money, even if you don't formally securitize, you're a security. So you can,
Yeah.
expose yourself to criminal negligence and fraud." I was like, okay, let me back up here. I guess I'll just take some partnerships. So you're right.
Yes.
Taking other people's money feels scary, and it is in many cases.
Yeah, I mean, it not only it so I like you said, I started at the crazy level, and I will say I am a surgeon, so maybe I'm not risk averse a lot like a lot of my colleagues in the hospital, but I started in syndications, right? So I started in a place where I was investing in syndications and being part of 4 of these syndications, and every single week I'm on calls and I'm visiting the properties because the folks that invested in these syndicates with me, they're my friends and colleagues, and I want them to trust that, I'm going to do right. I think where people get into trouble is when we overpromise and we're not honest with our investors that sometimes we don't know what we're doing. Like the market crashing and interest rates being wildly unpredictable in last year, that wasn't predicted in our deals as well as it should have been, right? And now I think once you have that conversation and work with smart people. So if you decide to do a syndication, I would say, my biggest boon has been I only pick teams where the financial modeling folks and the underwriting folks are like finance geniuses because
Yeah.
that's what matters, right? Because sales, everyone in real estate, a lot of people can do a really good job on sales, but it's the operational execution of the money that really matters. That's what I've learned. I guess my biggest lesson in the last 4 or 5 years.
Aisha, we are coming up on time here. Where can folks go if they've maybe got a deal they'd like you to look at, or maybe if they're in the medical field and are thinking about, hey, how do I make a jump into real estate?
I would love it. So our website, apexmultifamilycapital.com. And then my Instagram is not very creative. It's my name at Ayesha Khalid, MD, MBA. Both of those you can find me. And I actually am doing as many podcasts and seminars as possible, especially to let the healthcare folks know because we take care of people every day. So I want to help take care of them.
Aisha, thank you so much for coming on the show here today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.